Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for One Piece chapter 1039. When we last left our heroes, Raizo and Fukurokuju were continuing their battles of the paralysis, while Kazenbo's flames threatened to overtake both of them, or I think have overtaken Raizo, and Fukurokuju is starting to catch fire. Jinbei is helping some samurai evacuate from the burning building. We have Chopper is restored to his normal size, and is also very worried about Zoro, as the mink's medicine may have, dulled his pain for a little while, but only to double it again after a certain amount of time. So Chopper thinks Zoro's in trouble, and he's right, because we see Zoro outside, and he is seeing the Reaper. Don't know what that's about, but I'm sure we'll get to that eventually. Frankie, meanwhile, is trying to get to him too. Izo, we learn, has bested all the pirates in the crawl space where Usopp and Hamlet had escaped with Kiku and Kinemon, and is now in the basement where he finds CP0, who decide to let him go because there's just so much they have to deal with right now, which, fair enough, given how much stuff is going on in Wano. But Izo stops them. In the fan translation, he says something like, "Stop right there." In the official translation, he says, "Don't go anywhere yet," which to me implied maybe a desire to talk with CP0 about something. Either way, Yamato has finally made it to the armory where he finds Kazenbo. They start fighting, and we finally get to last chapter's title fight, Kid in Law versus Big Mom. As Big Mom has seemingly kind of wiped the floor with Kid in Law, she's gonna go help out Kaido to finally take down Luffy. But then Kid and Law get up for one last, rally. Kid stabs her in the face and then uses the sword to electrocute her, which does some damage. And Kid gathers together all of the Steel Beam homies and just tackles Big Mom. And that's where we left off, with the two of them mid-battle. And we open with a 2-page color spread of the Straw Hat Gang just exploring a jungle. It's cute. I've been thinking recently, I sort of miss some of the older One Piece where, the gang was just exploring new locales. Early Thriller Bark is always one of my favorite parts of the story. I was, watching Little Garden a few months ago, and I was yeah, I kind of miss just a whole new location. Compared to, the year and a half we've spent in and around the same building, I kind of miss that sense of exploration, and it's one of the reasons I'm excited to see wherever we're going after Wano. But anyway, it's cute, it's fun, kind of nostalgic, sort of has a Skypiea vibe almost. But anyway, we open above Wano, where Momonosuke is still trying to beat back Kaido's flame clouds. Chapter 1039, Top Billing. Which to me, I'm going to talk about that title for a bit actually, before I fully get started. Because it calls to mind the terms of headliners and lead performers that we've seen throughout the Beast Pirate hierarchy. Top billing to me in that framework brings to mind Big Mom and Kaido as the big heads of this organization, or this alliance at least. Anyway, above Wano, Momonosuke is pulling back Onigashima at last. It's moving backward. Must get further from capital. I will not allow this thing to drop on the city. And he keeps on going, and then he hears something. Is someone calling out to me? Okay. What's that about? Because I don't think it's Luffy again. Right? Because didn't Luffy, while he was underwater, kind of call out to Momo, or he called to the Heart Pirates, maybe? He called to someone and let Momo know that he was going to be alright, allowing Momo to announce to the Alliance Luffy's alive and he'll win. So yeah, it's not Luffy this time, I don't think. But I don't know who it could be. Oh, it's Zunisha! Zunisha's here! Right! He's feeling Zunisha, is my bet. Anyway, we cut back to inside the dome. In the aftermath of Kid's attack on Big Mom, and Big Mom has fallen over. The Beast Pirates react, Big Mom got knocked off her feet! Big Mom's not down for the count, is she? Please, no, not to them! And they're the Kid Pirates cheering, "Way to go, boss!" And the Heart Pirates, "Captain!" And Big Mom coughs. She's alive, she's conscious, but she's kind of beat up and she's raging. And Kid sort of feels it. That's gotta be hurting the old hag now. And Law calls, "Hey, Eustace, time for round 2. And Law, jumps onto the bull. "You just had to do your big fancy attack right after mine to make it look like you were the winner." And Kid's sort of shocked at Law's pettiness here. "I'm not your opening act." Law spent way too much time with the Straw Hats at this point. It was like he spent way too much time with Luffy. I was dealing with I don't know, something about this is I can't quite pinpoint the Luffy-ness here, but it feels like he spent so much time with the Straw Hats that he's caring about the most unimportant thing. And Kid's just sort of maybe almost genuinely shocked. Though also maybe Kid would be in the exact same position if their roles were reversed. Who cares about that? It's not important right now. If you really think so, then you go first next time. Put a real big hurt on her, then I can finish the job. And they're just feuding as Big Mom gets back up. "Don't tell me what to do. The ultimate attack I've got up my sleeve is the one that'll end that hag." "Oh yeah? What comes after the bull? A hippo? An elephant?" "Shut up! Like I tell you my secrets." And Big Mom's taking this opportunity to get back on her feet. The Beast Pirates all react. "Look at Big Mom's arm!" And we see her arm. And, so from right around here, it's at an angle like this. I can't do it because my bones are intact. But, that's not good. It sort of reminds me of, the bit in Ranking of Kings after Hokuro stabs Domus's arm half the way through, and it's just sort of dangling there before Domus finishes the job, right? If anyone's watching that masterpiece, which you should be, that's the vibe it gives off. That's what the look is. Shockwave from the inside. Feels like I cracked some ribs, too. Gotta watch out for Trafalgar's moves. They're dangerous. And then, she pulls out some soul and puts it into her broken bone. "Here, I'll give you life. Come back to me, Bones." And she turns her own bones into homies. "Yes, Mama. Yes, Mama." And Big Mom, now with even more power, laughs. "Mama, mama, ha, ha, ha." And Law gets serious again. "I'm going to be honest with you. No jokes. The next round's going to be the last one for me. I won't have any strength after my next attack. But I guarantee you it won't miss. So I need you to..." And Kid just snaps. I just told you not to give me orders." And Big Mom is taking their bickering as an opportunity to attack. "Prometheus, Napoleon, Hera, here we go." "Yes, Mama. Mazer Saber." And with Hera wrapped around the Napoleon blade, and maybe Prometheus there too, she has this sword beam cutting through Kid's bull. And Kid just taunts her. "That's nothing. This is just scrap to begin with." And we see Big Mom also breathing heavy. Again, they've all been at this for a while. They're all very tired. But Big Mom still taunts back. "Mama, you're nothing. The time for dreaming is over. Listen up, you brats. We've sunk hundreds of people just like you into the sea." And Kid jumps at her. I love this panel here of Kid making his one final push on Big Mom's. Big Mom has her own blade. "We've been reigning as emperors for decades, since the days before you were weaned off your mother's milk." Right, as we learned with Kid's awakening, he can assign magnetism to other objects. And he does that. Assign! S! And he puts the south magnetic pole on Big Mom's forehead, and N, the north pole, on a random beam, slamming Big Mom into it. She's knocked off her feet, almost mid-taunt, which is good for Kid. And she just rages. I can't! And the remnants of Kid's bull charges the immobile Big Mom. "Mama, look out! I can't get loose!" Urgh! And the bull hits her full on. Oh no, it didn't. She was stuck to this tower, and I think she pulled the tower out from its foundation and turned around so the bull hit the back of the tower? Damn, Big Mom, even when she's exhausted, she's a badass. What? She stood up, tower and all. And kids just can't believe this. This is ridiculous. And Kid's now on the ground again as Big Mom looms over him. Why would you put all this extra weight on my back? Mother's visit cannon! And she's attacking with something. We see lightning in her eyes and the breath exiting her mouth. 3,000 leagues of... I'm guessing this is part of Hera here. As the Kid pirates all react, run for your life! And Kid just stares in shock. Misery! And she swings the lightning off of Napoleon. Hera materializes as not a flesh and blood woman, but like a lightning elemental woman, who with her hand sort of lunges for Kid. I think she gets some of the samurai too. It's moving. Her attack. It's alive. And yeah, Hera seems to be kind of separated from Big Mom in this humanoid form. As Big Mom laughs, ha ha ha. Keep going, Misery. Destroy those little. Oh, so maybe this isn't Hera. This is a separate thing named Misery? But just then, I think that's the tower that was on Big Mom's back is now above her. Thanks to Law's tact. And it slams down on top of her. We'll see how much damage that does. It also seems to maybe get the back half of Misery. And Big Mom falls. Gah! Ah! And Law jumps up using his Kroom attack to cover his blade. Kid watches as Law readies the blade and stabs it into her. Big Mom is still conscious, of course, and just stares at him. Not you again, Trafalgar! And I was about to say we left that there, because we cut to the underground armory, and we see the blade stabbing through the armory with Yamato and Kizenbo. As Kizenbo still approaches the frozen explosives. And Yamato looks at it. What is that? And we cut to Onigashima above Wano. And that's Law's blade. All the way through the ground. Which is not going to do great things for Momo. I'll say that much. Like he was having enough trouble pulling that island away before. Now there's a whole sword grounding it in place. But yeah, that's a big move. And Big Mom, you see her fist coated with hockey. So you think you're hot stuff, do ya? You don't want to let go? Hot Trafalgar? And she's just beating onto him as he holds on for dear life. The Heart Pirates all react, Captain! And he keeps on pushing into the ground. I'm not quite sure why. What going deeper will do here, because he thinks, not yet. Must go deeper. And as Big Mom pummels away, she asks, what's wrong? Give up the ghost already? And the Heart Pirates all call out, what are you doing, Captain? Get away from her. You're going to die. And Law holds on for dear life as he mutters out the beginning of his attack name, Puncture. And Big Mom's almost scared there. Huh? No, don't. No, oh, sorry, that's the wrong voice. No, don't. And Law finishes this, will. And we see the shock that the sword is doing goes all the way to the bottom of the sword. I'm not quite sure how the deepness of the blade at that point does more damage to Big Mom. But it does leave this giant hole in the ground above or under Onigashima. He might just throw Big Mom in there. I don't know. As Big Mom feels the whole brunt of that attack. And we see the hole is right above her. Maybe that was the point of going so deep, is giving Big Mom that hole to be buried in. And Momo notes it. What? Where did that giant hole come from? And Yamato as well. What's with that hole? And Misery approaches and Big Mom calls, burn him to death, Misery. Yes, Mama. And Law's is kind of fully drained here. He could not dodge that attack if he wanted to. And then Law calls again, do it, Eustace. And we see the Kid has created this giant gun, I think, out of the scrap metal. Big Mom's just stunned. What is that? And Kid just snaps, how many times do I have to tell you, Trafalgar? You don't give me orders. And he like stares over at Big Mom. Law just grins. His victory assured. And Big Mom just mutters out, "You rats!" And then she change as Law powers up. Big Mom just grins. "Give me all you've got, then. You think you can beat me? I'm Big Mom!" And Kid just tells her, "And that's why we're getting rid of you." And he blasts Big Mom full force. The ground gives way beneath her. We don't actually see her fall as she calls, "Damn punk!" Ah! She like faces that full blast as Law tells her, "Your era is over. To be continued. Thank God we're not off next week, by the way." Okay, so I do think next chapter is going to be the end of Big Mom, which is huge. You know, in the same way that, like, technically the Sanji Queen fight ended in the next chapter, like, just like the first few pages of the next chapter and the Zoro King fight, and then the first few pages of the following chapter of that one. I think the next chapter will open with Big Mom falling, and then Kid and Law versus Big Mom, winner, Kid and Law. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that, this feels like the end of Big Mom. And I don't know. I want to think about that for a minute, because Big Mom has been this big foe, right? She was never really I'm trying to figure out a way to describe Big Mom. She was never a long-term goal in the way Kaido was, I think, back when she was first introduced in Fishman Island. You know, she was sort of, we'll get to her eventually, maybe, and then Whole Cake happened, and then it was, you know, she felt more like an arc villain there to distract from the big Kaido fight coming. Until, of course, she showed up on Whole Cake. And that being said, but let me finish that thought. All of that, though, Big Mom was still this big threat for so long. And if this is how Big Mom exits the story, I'm not sure how satisfying that is. You know, this feels as the conclusion to this one fight. It feels good. You know, if Big Mom were like King, Queen, or Jack or Toby Ropo, this would feel like a satisfying ending. It's well thought out. The strategy's real good. It's fun to read. It's tense. But Big Mom isn't King, Queen, or Jack. She's fucking Big Mom. And there's something about this doesn't quite feel like the end of a threat we've had for like hundreds of chapters. You know, like I don't know. It just feels sort of odd to me. Because at least since midway through Zoe, Big Mom was this big threat. Admittedly, she felt at times something of an arc villain back in Whole Cake, but especially with her return to Wano, it was sort of the sense of, oh, she's much bigger. You know, she's gonna be around a whole lot longer. She's a whole lot more important to the story. I hope I'm making sense here. I'm not entirely sure I am. And it just feels odd. There's something about the way she's being taken out here that feels kind of odd to me. I don't know. It's a real satisfying fight. You know, and it fits with the show's themes, the arc's themes of, you know, the new generation at last rising above their predecessors. As like Big Mom and Kaido feel like the last of the players who were like contemporary with Whitebeard and even Roger. You know, as opposed to like Blackbeard, who's a sort of new face, and Shanks, who was like Roger's, you know, crew member, but like a kid at the time. They both feel of a younger generation, Blackbeard more so than Shanks. But like I hope I'm making any sense here, because I'm just kind of rambling, I think. But you know, in the way one of this arc's big themes is the way this new generation of pirates is overtaking the old one, is overtaking Big Mom and Kaido, and that whole generation. It's all real good. You know, Kid and Law taking down Big Mom while Luffy handles the big bad. But I think that might be part of my issue, actually. If I'm making any sense at all at this point, because I'm barely making sense myself, if I'm being quite frank. But that, like, part of Big Mom's defeat here feels like she's a secondary villain to Kaido. as opposed to how they sort of initially appeared, kind of co-lead villains of the arc, at least. Big Mom and Kaido were, like, equal, whereas the way this is framed, I get the sense of Big Mom feeling a bit more like a second-in-command to Kaido, and I'm not quite sure if I like that. You know, I like the idea they're sort of equal symbols of the old generation, and equal in strength, and equal in villainy, if that makes any sense. Equal in story importance. But that's not really the sense I get from Big Mom here. You know, it's, like, to be fair, it's a damn fun chapter. It's a great fight. It's, like, strategic. It's good. I like the whole just burying Big Mom. We can't be sure if that she won't just, like, get right back up. But if she falls, maybe that's good for something? I mean, though, as a point of contention there, though, that's the same thing they did in, like, 1003. And it did very little good there. But maybe if they, you know, don't let the homies save her, maybe it'll work this time. I don't know. We'll have to see exactly how this all plays out in the next chapter, I guess. But anyway, my larger point is, my big takeaway of the chapter is that it's a really fun fight, but I'm not quite sure I like this as the end of Big Mom. You know, I feel like Big Mom's just a little bit bigger than this in terms of story importance. It's just sort of, I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong here. Maybe it's sort of the way that Onigashima is structured at times leads to this sense of, like, you know, this fight has maybe, you know, because we had a couple chapters of them, you know, 15 chapters or so ago of this fight. But then we sort of left it by the wayside, and so it ends up feeling like this fight is only 2 chapters long, even though it's been going on in the background for ages and had 1 or 2 focus chapters before then. But in the end, it feels like Big Mom getting taken out in a 2-chapter fight, which isn't true. It isn't accurate, but it still kind of feels that way. Maybe that's my problem here, that it feels a little shorter than it actually is. I don't know. I mean, I like a lot of what it's doing thematically. You know, I like the whole Big Mom's whole, you think you can beat me, I'm Big Mom, and that's why we're getting rid of you, your era is over, is a real good, you know, encapsulation of at least the Pirates storyline's theme in this arc. Is, you know, at last, this new generation staking their claim in the world. And not just staking their claim, but also beating back the older claims. But I don't know. There's just something kind of odd in the way it's structured. And I might be the only person feeling like this, or maybe I'm not, I don't know. But anyway, I just don't know. I'm really curious to see where we go from here. If Big Mom really is down for the count, as she kind of seems to be, or if, you know, Big Mom is ever truly gone. I don't know. I am curious here what other people are thinking of this fight. I don't normally ask what other people think of the chapter, but here I kind of am. Like, do other people share my complaints, or is everyone just, like, so gung-ho over this that, like, it's just so badass? And it is badass, don't get me wrong. I don't know. Kind of curious about that. So if you want to, feel free to leave a comment about that. But yeah, all that being said, I think I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe. You know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!